and thank you for joining us on the 6th episode of Design. I am Vivian Toh, and this evening I'll be speaking to Dr. Mohamad Hariri Abdullah, the Associate Professor of Universiti Teknologi Mara, that's UiTM, in the Faculty of Art and Design. Now, for the topic of tonight, we will be talking to Dr. Hariri, finding out the insights about automotive design and the future that lies ahead for the industry. Now, a bit introduction about Dr. Hariri. He is also the director of the National Design Center in UiTM, having been dabbling in furniture and product design before specializing in automotive design. And Dr. Hariri also started work in the automotive line in the United Kingdom since 1987. And he was a speaker at the United Nations Development Program about excellence in design. Now, talking about conducting talks to various places, Dr. Hariri also is in the process of a 3-day talk in KL. Is that right, Dr. Hariri?
Yeah, at the moment we're having a talk in regard to the importance of design and why design seems to be something very significant to the customer today.
Before we get into what design is in general, or the excellence of design, can you tell us a bit about what is automotive design?
Okay, automotive design is something that quite unique to most of the students, yeah. And some people call it automotive, some people call it transport design, and some they call it vehicle design. But there are differences in between these three, because basically it offers the same things in the design courses in regard to these matters. However, when we call it transport design or vehicle design, anything from, I believe, from skateboard to the space shuttle, that we call it a vehicle, something that transport you from one place to another. However, when it comes to automotive, very much focusing something with motorized. And normally when people talk about automotive design, particularly about cars, become something
Do you
quite
mean
common
it's
topic.
a marriage between engineering and design?
Yes, you have to be in engineering and design. I believe when it comes to design, it's not the designers alone. You need to have your enemy, which is the engineers, I call it sometimes.
Okay.
But we have to work closely to make the things into reality.
What is the process in the automotive design, in a way, in getting a really good automotive?
Okay, the most important, I believe, when it comes to setting up what kind of project we're going to do is to understand what the customer wanted. Okay, what are the customer wanted, what kind of market trend at the moment, and then what kind of thing that needed by the customer. One about what they wanted, another one when I say by needed, the target audience. Is it youngsters? Is it the middle age group of people? Is that you go for the certain group of cluster in the community?
I guess back then, cars are seen as a vehicle that can transport them from point A to point B. It's all about functionality and durability. What is it now, right now? Is it more about status?
Oh, yeah. I pick up your words when it comes about status. But before that, when I said car is not just a means of transportation. But nowadays, I believe car is something that can be associated to our daily life. Even in some cases, people may, to transform or may perceive a car as part of their partners, as a pet. And even some treated the car better than their wife. So there's a bonding actually in between the car itself and the owners. Not even the cars, but sometimes the other vehicle as well. And then I like the words that you mentioned about status. Yes, it is that the car does become a representation as a status symbol to the owners itself. So regardless, as they are small car or they are big cars, it does actually.
Well, I've seen here, I just introduced you as someone working in the automotive line in the UK since 1987. Can you share with us a bit about the trend that you have observed, in the UK, and do you see it happening in Malaysia?
Okay, actually, when we look at the late 90s to the early 90s, I think the car over there when it comes to colors in particular, with the gloomy weather, with the inconsistent weather. Sometimes they said, yeah, and you see the colors, especially, is something quite dull, like blues, light blues, grey, silver, and those kind of thing. But when it comes to the years of 2000, yeah, with the coming of immigrant or maybe coming of other cultures to the UK, in particular from Asian, as well as from the Africa, that where we are more, more colourful, in the sense that to make our life, yeah, to suit our life, and then the colour of the vehicle also have changed over there nowadays. And today you can see various colours in UK. However, when it comes to design, I think we got, I won't say something different in UK because the design is global. It goes same thing everywhere. But the colours actually does, depending on where you are. And sometimes the culture have a strong influence on the colours itself.
It's interesting when we had a conversation out of the studio, you did mention that design does not impact the colours, but colours impact the design.
Yeah, it's true. It's true because when I say about design doesn't impact the colour, because whatever you design, whatever colour you put it in, so with your design will still remain the same. Okay. No, sorry, the colour will remain the same. However, with the certain design, if you have a certain colours on it, and then suddenly you can see the difference of it. For example, if you have a white car in comparison to the black car, and then you see so much difference, isn't it? With the white car, is more solid.
Yes.
And you see it more brighter, more wider. But when it comes to the black car, it's just, wow, stand itself, but make it look like small.
Well, let's bring the context back to Malaysia, and let's take Proton, for example. Well, I've seen for the past few decades or so, the color range for Proton have always been practically the same, like black and white and red and blue and metallic colors. Have it produced any striking colors?
I believe when it comes to color in Proton, is not based on what the designers intend to have or what Proton intend to have. Because I knew that I work closely with some of the peoples in there, and they help us as academicians to get to know what is happening out there nowadays. Very much is depend on what the customer wanted. And they did conduct a clinic whereby they call people to come to the studio and verify the colors and suggested the colors. Maybe it's just that the target audience for the Proton is not like the one in Prodo. I'm not trying to make comparison, but just to make it clear that the situation in Prodo, very much we see the target audience is about the youngsters or the yuppies, people who just started their life. So whereas in Proton, the target audience is very much toward the, how to say, is people who already work maybe for the past 5-6 years onwards.
Perhaps with families?
Yeah, imagine families driving something more striking, yellow and pink. Will you do that?
I think I would.
Maybe it's okay for the youngster for your age, but not for that particular age. Yeah.
But I guess, well, with the range of colors offered by Myvi, I think it's pretty. I see it's proven that colors as striking as purple or pink. I think once they had the pink color, did sell quite well, I think.
Yeah, I see that. Again, I think because who's their target market or target audience and how they perceive the color. And I believe you talk about youngsters, you want to see something very cheerful, more lively. And then when it comes to the other colors, you see the brown or golden brown, those kind of colors very much to suit the certain age of people. So actually colors is not about just simply we can choose and place to whatever product that we have. I think depending on much on the target audience. Yeah. So that is quite important. The age, the gender, and the culture does has an impact on the color selection actually.
Okay, so you're saying that market research actually lets you give you findings of what sort of cars to design to suit the market.
Yeah, it does actually, the market trends. Yeah, it's important for designers to understand what is the market trend, what kind of things that been designed at the global platform by other industry. So that is become something that become a sense of direction for the automotive industry itself. So sometimes, in some cases, they are also, I believe, the industry whereby they try to transform, do a transformation of their image and become something else. For example, if I may say it like Kia, you know, when suddenly we knew that Kia before is not like what we seen today. Maybe because of the globalization and the movement of the people in the design itself has transformed the identity of Korea to become more global identity. Yeah.
Okay. So that, well, I'm sure, Dr. Hariri, you have done research for the past 20 years, in particular the automotive design. What has been the findings that you have found between Myvi and Proton and perhaps foreign cars? I remember you sharing with me about the consumer behavior when it comes to choosing cars.
Yeah, actually, last time maybe when we look at the history, the car been designed because of the function, or what we call it in the design context, form follow function or function follow form. And then come to the late 90s or early 2000, and then more towards the follow emotion, design follow emotion. But today I believe the emotion does lead everything. And they try to create a car today, in particular, very much to connect with the consumer emotion itself, to make it like that is become the belonging to them. Not only the handphone, not only the shirt, not only what is surrounding them, but the car becomes something part of the representation of themselves. Accessories to them could be. It is part of the accessories.
I think, well, the cars are getting more easier for the consumer. Like say for BMW or Mercedes, they are engineered just so the drivers don't have to drive. In a way, isn't that is that good? In a way, the car can drive by itself. Isn't it dangerous?
Well, that is a technology. It's not a new thing actually. When talk about this kind of invention, they have been doing such a long time. Yeah. However, I think with the we have to follow what we have today. For example, like maybe what kind of generation you are in comparison to what I have today, and we have to go along. And the technology become a leaders today in everything. Yeah, last time you can study you have to go to the university to study, but today you can stay in the house. Everything is online. So same thing when it comes to cars. Nowadays the trend in automotive design to have all the electronic gadget inside the car seem to be something common.
Is it true that you can study automotive design just like from online, from home?
No, not the automotive design. I mean other courses as well. Okay. So when they talk about the technology, so same thing also being embedded into the automotive industry. Okay. So they have to follow to suit the generation today.